Hey, so I want to talk to you about how a client is created because you're way more in control of this than what I think you realize. You might have just forgotten. You don't get them or grab them or find them. That has a very like, I'm going to hunt you down and pursue you kind of energy. This is where it can, like, marketing can feel really off and like, yeah, and like, I don't enjoy it because we've got like an unhelpful thought. I've got to get them, like, you're just trying to like lift things up and see if they're underneath it, and it feels like look, like you just have to look in the right places. You create an opportunity from a conversation. A client is created out of the moment they hear you, your words, your insights, how you help people, what you share with them, and tell them. So it's basically, where can I show up and start saying some words to some people about what I do? And literally, the possibilities are endless. Like, you could do this networking, you could do it on social media, you could do it in real life, you can do it with lots of different people. You can do it at the school gates, the supermarket, the dentist. That actually happened to me. I actually bought something and sold something at the dentist. It like became a little networking like waiting room. Do it down the local pub. Someone asked me, "What is it you actually do?" I told them, and they were like, "We need that." And I would never have gone looking, thinking my ideal clients are sat in the dentist chair. My ideal clients are sat in the pub next to me. This is what we do. Our brain's like, not them, not them. We're like hunting for this perfect ideal client, and we think it's just going to land in our lap. It just doesn't happen like that. You can also look at your existing clients. Do they want to do some more work together because they had an amazing experience with you and what more? Or if it's not them, who else do they know? Who else could was in a similar position to them that they could think of, that they could go and introduce and bring the people to you? So you show up and you say things over and over again. They hear the words and it makes them think, oh, that sounds like something I need to know more about. Sometimes they hear it instantly and like, oh my God, that way that you said it, so simple, so easy. Never heard it explained like that before. My God, what is it you do? Have you got something that I can look at? Have you got like a LinkedIn? Have you got a YouTube? Like, do you have a podcast? Sometimes people are like, oh my God, yes, that thing, and I want to buy now. It's how I bought for my business coach. I watched it. She came into view. She came into my feed. I listened to it and I thought, my God, I have never heard sales described like this. I've never heard business described like this. This is what I want. That's so simple. That's made it easier for me. And I watched her for 2 weeks. I'd heard enough words, I'd heard enough conviction behind it that I was going to get the result. And so I stepped forward and I bought from her. And when I booked the call, I already knew I was going to buy from her. That's how powerful it is. And it's all within your control to create. You are fully in control of the client creation process. I think you just forget to what extent this goes. Like, how many times you show up, what you say, what you think when you say it, what you think about your people in your audience, their readiness to buy, their appetite to hear what you've got to say, and what you hold back from saying or sharing because you think it's obvious. They know it. I've said it enough times. I'm going to tire them out. I'm going to bore them. Then they'll move away and then I'll lose the opportunity. So we hold back when we think that's the people who know me or I've chatted to at some point, or I think they look like my people. If we hold back, if they're not there and they're not in those buckets, we're like, well, I can't speak to them because they don't know me. I can't go to people who don't know me. That would be weird and pushy. Or what if you just show up and you're not shouting buy my stuff, but like you show up and you just start a conversation. Because if you're stuck at a certain revenue level, you're probably thinking the right people haven't found you yet. And if you wait long enough, they'll just find you. What if you go and find them? And you won't have, if you wait, you kind of don't have to do the bit that feels uncomfortable, which is being direct, standing really strongly for the value that you offer. You remember all the things that unlock and become available when someone comes into your world and they buy from you and they hear your words. And it's saying, this is what I do. This is who I help. This is exactly how I help them. This is what becomes available when we get the help. It's making an offer for someone to get the help they need. And I personally love directness because I just like to know what's going on. I just don't want to go through the whole rigmarole of 10 messages and then it comes. Just tell me straight up, what problem do you solve for? What is it? And then I can see really quickly whether this is something that I am struggling with. Because if it is, how helpful is that to know? Even if I've never booked a call in that initial moment, I know and I can start leaning in and looking and getting more information. But if you think people need time to warm up, weeks and months to get to know you, what about your people who are already ready to buy now? They're also in your audience. And for those of you who like the stats, there's like 3 to 5 people, so 3 to 5% of people in your audience that are ready to buy now. There's 15 to 20% that are almost at the stage where they'll actively start deciding on a solution provider to choose. Most of you are sat on the thousands of connections. That could potentially mean hundreds of people actively looking right now. But we hear 3% and we think, well, that's like 3 people. It's more than that. And you only need to do this work and connect with one person very strongly so they feel really heard and really seen. Because when someone has the problem that you solve for and knows you're the person who solves for it, that's going to be so helpful for them. And if they do get a bit offended by the directness, they were never your person to start with. What you're not in control of, and this is where our brains pull back to all the time, is who is it that's going to reach out and when will they do that? I need to know who's going to reach out. You're never going to know that. And I think when you're in control of this process, that becomes exciting, not something to fear. When you feel like you're not in control of it, then it feels angsty because you're not looking at the bits that you can control. You're looking at the bits that, like, I'll never know that. And then our brain just goes, yeah, well, what are we going to do about that? So you just forget all the good stuff that you're in control of. And this is where we spend quite a bit of time in the sales refresh when you come into the group program. Once you've got your offer firmed up, and as you're firming your offer up, um, you're learning to get into your client's brain and see things from their perspective. What can you share with them that moves them towards you because they feel so heard and seen by what you say? That's how powerful your words are. You could be stood next to someone networking and say something, and they're like, I've never heard it said like that before. That is so profound. And then they lean into you, and then they buy or they refer people to you. The best marketing comes from people who feel you understand their problem better than anyone else. You get it even more than they do themselves. How does that person know that I was just saying that and thinking that? And how do they know that? Because you spend a long time thinking for them and what they might be thinking and what comes next instead of what you think about it. You have a solution to offer them to solve for that problem. And so that's they're like, my God, this person understands my problem better than I do. And they've got the solution to this, and that's the thing that's going to work. Yeah, you're banging control of the quality and the quantity of that message. And when you work with me in the sales refresh, I have a process that I take you through to learn how to A, get that out of your brain, and B, how you can move people towards you so that you can be a little bit more direct. You can make more invitations to take the next step with you, and it doesn't feel salesy and pushy. You can do that with the most wonderfully aligned clients that are already around you. And so that's what we create in the sales refresh, a very simple plan where you'll show up. What will you say? Where will you show up? And keep on top of your thinking so you feel energized to keep showing up until it works. Because this is what happens. We go off, we're like, it's been 2, 3 months, so like it's not working. Let me change it. And that's the point where someone's just hearing the words you're saying for the first time, and you've got a bit bored, or you're had an expectation about how soon this would work and what that would look like and how many people would come to you and how fast that would be. And the reality was just something different. We haven't learned to manage that frustration and disappointment that happens in that gap. So we go off and we do something else instead of staying true to that course. And when you do that work, it creates clients for you. You book sales calls, it produces that level of activity every single time. And I'll help you get on board with that faster. So today, I have an exercise for you. I want you to go and tell your best people the one thing that you're holding back from saying. You think it may be too pushy or too much, that they'll go away from you, that you'll lose the sale, which feels risky. I get it. When you think there's not that many people out there, there's hundreds and thousands of people that are ready to start looking for a solution and pay you now today, and they're going to pay someone else. Someone else is going to get paid because you had some thinking that was really unhelpful that stopped you from showing up and saying the words I know you really want to say them. So today, go and tell someone the one thing that you're holding back from saying. Tell them what actually happens when they pay you. Tell them what outcome they can come to expect. This is what working with me produces. Do you want that? Step forward. I've got 2 spaces. Here's how you book that. Here's how you get in my diary. Or you could go a step further and think of one person right now that you know will be an ideal client and go and tell them that and invite them and be really clear and really intentional. I have the space. I know it's you for these reasons. Do you want to have a call? Do you want to have a conversation about doing this work together? I would love that. I think you'd get great results for these reasons. That's how simple it can be. So if you want to create more money with better clients, let's have the conversation about how the sales refresh can help you with that. I have the process and the structures and the framework and the insight. I know you've got the offer. I know you've got the like passion, and I know you remember the true value of what comes out of working with you. We just haven't learned how to get that out and say that in the words that creates a client. That's it. So I want to show you that whole process. So book in your information call with me. The link is in the comments. I'd love to welcome you into the group program, the Sales Refresh. It's ideal for people who have they sell transformation coaches, consultants, experts, creatives, consultants, and you just haven't learned how to articulate and explain the value of your offer. I know you've got it inside of you. When you learn to do that, you book more sales calls, you sign more clients. That is just the byproduct of doing this work. It happens every time. So, booking your call, we'll have that conversation. We'll find out what's creating the current level of client and money. What would you like the level of client and money to look like? And I'll be able to share with you why that is not happening and what that gap is and what that pathway looks like. And if it's the work that you feel like the support is aligned for what you want to do and your goals for your business, you will come in and you can join the sales refresh straight away. There's no cohort, there's no starting date. You get in straight away. And if it's not, that's fine. You go on and you find something else, but you will be informed as to what is stopping you from creating clients right now. And I think that is a really valuable use of time. So I'd like to make an invitation for you to get that time, book the call, links in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. Let me share with you how I can help you, and you can decide whether that's what you want to do. Okay. All right, then. I'll see you soon. See you later.